Your NASCAR racing station, Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Blitz with Nick Leffew. I am Nick Leffew. Keon Rutherford will be joining me in just a little while. Welcome to Nuga Radio 92.7 FM. It's a nice Saturday morning. Going to be nice and hot today if you're going to be out, but it's going to be a nice day. There's going to be a lot to kind of talk about today. Keon and I'll get into, I'm sure, a little bit of NBA Summer League. The Hawks' number one draft pick, Trae Young, was starting to kind of turn it on a little bit. So talk a little bit of local NBA, and then always at this point in time, people start stretching, for stories in college football as we get closer and closer to college football season. We're about 50 days away, 51 days away, 7 weeks. So I guess 49 days away. It's people will stretch for stories because these journalists, these writers, there's not a lot going on for them, and so they have to stretch for some things. However, there was this week a locally a really interesting story that was on Bleacher Report about former Tennessee running back Jalen Hurd. You don't know a lot about Jalen Hurd. Jalen Hurd was highly touted 5-star recruit out of Beach High School up in the Nashville area. Second all-time leading rusher at Tennessee after his 3 seasons there. And in 2016, his last season, he played for UT. Some interesting stuff went down. Obviously, now Tennessee fans and administration kind of know kind of the way everything went down with the last regime with Butch Jones, and things, weren't always as good as that Butch would advertise that they were. And the Jalen Hurd situation seems to kind of be the same way. And this article on Bleacher Report is really, really, really interesting. It's mostly about Jalen Hurd, who's now transferred to Baylor, and will play wide receiver. No longer will play running back, but will play wide receiver for Baylor. And Matt Rule, the coach there, loves him. Says he's going to be their number one receiver, and that he's going to play in the NFL a long time. Now, watching Jalen Hurd play at UT at running back, I always thought the same thing. I thought Jalen Hurd would play a long time in the NFL. I thought he'd play at running back. However, there was a lot of issues that kind of went on behind the scenes with him playing running back at Tennessee that not everybody always knew. You heard things. I heard things that went down from people I know, but it never, you never knew the whole story or anything like that. But in 2016, I'll kind of break down the story for you. In 2016, Jalen Hurd was coming back with Alvin Kamara and both running backs for Tennessee. And Jalen Hurd had gone. One of the rumors was right after the 2015 season that Jalen Hurd had threatened to transfer if some things wouldn't change. He was talked into stay, saying that the offense was going to change, that he was going to get more perimeter runs, not right between the tackles, where he was getting basically abused and hurt. The man suffered multiple concussions at the University of Tennessee. And, he asked, to be able to run a little bit outside in the perimeter, outside of the tackle box. And he was told that the offense would change. And as we know, it didn't. In 2016, they still ran up the middle most of the time with Jalen. And it all culminated at one point in the Georgia game, and then in 2016, Jalen was going in for a touchdown and gets blindsided and fumbles the football. Now, when Jalen fumbled, Georgia recovered. He's coming off the sideline. Butch Jones meets him about at the numbers he was going off on Jalen Hurd. Now, if you're a football coach, there's times to do that. In the middle of a game, a close game at that, that's not the time to do that. Your teachable moments, there are plenty of them, and there are plenty of times to use those teachable moments and to go off on people. But on the field, in the middle of a game, on the sidelines, is not the time to do it. And you also have to know your personnel, and you have to know your players' personalities. And clearly, Jalen Hurd did not respond well to that type of coaching, and Butch Jones didn't care. And Jalen Hurd ends up, not playing most of the rest of that game. He did score a touchdown in the second half, was on the hands team for that last kickoff before the Hail Mary play. But then things got really weird because Butch Jones didn't tell anybody the truth ever. And the next week they played Texas A&M. And when they played Texas A&M, Jalen Hurd didn't even travel. They said it was due to a lower body extremity injury. Okay. It wasn't. If anything, it was a concussion. But apparently, they had decided to kick Jalen off the team. Alabama comes back, or the next week Alabama game, and he comes back. He plays pretty. Him and Alvin, played decently and whatever. Alvin got hurt. John Kelly got banged up a little bit, so they had to have him for South Carolina. Otherwise, you're running true freshman Carlin Fields and me out there with your fourth-string running back in a night SEC game on the road. And then Jalen Hurd, everybody kind of knows this story. If you're a Tennessee fan, Jalen Hurd kind of quit in the middle of that game. Again, Butch Jones tirades on the sidelines towards Jalen Hurd. And according to multiple things that I've heard, Jalen Hurd told Butch Jones after one of them, he said, "You can find somebody else. I'm not going back in the ballgame." And then eventually that was the last time we saw Jalen Hurd in a Tennessee uniform. So at that point, you look at a kid that's quote unquote quit on his team. And that's fair. He did. But the kid was lied to over and over again. Told things were going to change, and they didn't. Was told things that he even offered to switch positions because he wanted to play perimeter style ball. He was tired of, getting beat up and getting injured, and they didn't. And Jalen Hurd now ends up at Baylor to play 1 year at wide receiver to try to go to the NFL. Now, a lot of Tennessee fans still have, ill will and animosity towards Jalen. And, I kind of have mixed feelings about it. You don't quit on your team. And Jalen did that. But you don't do that. But you also have to sometimes think about yourself a little bit. And if he was continually getting injured, multiple concussions, and the coaching staff wasn't going to change the way they played him, I get it. I get why he wouldn't, go want to come back and be a part of that. I completely understand. You're talking about a guy who is close to maybe 500 yards away from breaking the all-time Tennessee rushing record held by Travis Henry. And he was going to do it in 3 years. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. And now you're looking at a guy who's been through a lot, and he's gone to Baylor, a program that's seen better days, but good for Jalen. And he's going to have an opportunity to go out there and play. The weirdest part, though, of this whole story is that an anonymous former Tennessee assistant under Butch Jones was quoted as saying in this story, this is the quote, "There's a sign in the locker room that we all touch before heading to the field that says, 'I will give my all for Tennessee.'" If any guy gave his all for that program, it was Jalen Hurd. He played hurt. He played hard. He did everything he was asked. We started 5-0, then lost 3 straight games, and everyone wanted a fall guy. Guess who that guy was? And now, Butch Jones was good at this. Butch Jones was good at painting a picture for you of what he wanted you to know, whether it be the truth or not. And, you know, I'll say this about Butch. He didn't disclose everything to the media this time about that. However, it was obvious that Jalen was the fall guy in that locker room and for the fan base, for that team falling apart. They were 5-0. You're top 10 in the country going into Texas, a top 10 matchup against Texas A&M. And somebody had to be to blame because you know Butch Jones wasn't going to take the blame. And so there's Jalen Hurd. And I feel bad for him, to be honest with you. I really do. And I hope he succeeds. And I don't understand why some Tennessee fans don't want this kid to succeed. He did so much for the University of Tennessee. Yeah, okay, he quit, whatever. He did so much for the University of Tennessee in the 3 years he was there, 2.5. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him get into the NFL, and I want to see him play well, and I want to see him. I'm excited to get to watch a few Baylor football games this year and see what Jalen Hurd can do, and I wish the best for him. He was clearly mismanaged at the University of Tennessee, like most of the roster was under that 5-year span, and you know, it's sad to have a kid who clearly had an opportunity to probably get drafted in the first or second round after that junior season if he would have left Tennessee and if he would have stayed at Tennessee for the remainder of the season. But sometimes you have to care about yourself a little bit more, and you got to take care of your health. He was clearly not healthy. There's, if he did have a concussion in that Georgia game and they let him come back in, Tennessee's facing bigger problems. Don't know if Jalen would ever pursue anything, but my goodness, you can't do that. If that was the case, I don't know. This whole situation, it's just another thing under the Butch Jones tenure that's just been another black eye for the University of Tennessee, another missed opportunity, another mismanagement of a kid's career. But maybe those days are finally over, and we can go back to the point where Tennessee is matters, and Tennessee coaches care about their kids, and Jeremy Pruitt, hopefully, as a guy who is just a football coach, will be able to make that change. Now, I want to switch gears a little bit because that whole story, that story was obviously one of the biggest stories in college football this year or this week. But I want to step away from that for a second. I'll talk to Keon a little bit about it in in the next segment when he gets here, but let's get his take on it. But move away from that a little bit, and I want to talk a little bit about another story that came out for Tennessee this week. Tennessee is reportedly changing their uniforms. Okay. We knew that Jeremy Pruitt was not a fan of the smoky gray uniforms, so those are probably pretty much 100% gone. That's fine. Don't need gimmicks. University of Tennessee, you don't need gimmicks. I was a fan of the uniforms. I love the helmet, but I completely get it. That's not Tennessee. Tennessee's orange and white. It's fine. The big change, though, to those uniforms, Jeremy Pruitt is this traditionalist guy. And the uniforms. Since Nike took over on the helmet, they're on the orange stripe that goes down the middle, about a quarter of the way up the back was a checkerboard. That'll no longer be there. It'll just be the orange solid stripe again. And then on the pants, the same kind of thing. There was a stripe that went down all the way down the pant leg, and about a quarter of the way down, it turned into a checkerboard. That'll be gone as well. It's going to be just an orange stripe, which, again, more traditionalist look. Where did Jeremy Pruitt come from? He came from Alabama. What are their uniforms? Traditional. The biggest change, though, the biggest change in all of it is the shoes, the cleats. Tennessee's been wearing orange and white cleats for at least since they switched to Nike. I think they were wearing them when they were with Adidas. Now, Jeremy Pruitt said, we're not doing that. We're wearing black cleats. When Tennessee was good in the 90s and early 2000s, they wore all black cleats, black and white cleats. And I think Jeremy Pruitt's his goal, I believe, from what I'm gathering from all this, and I know this is kind of realistically insignificant. And I'll break that down in a second, but changing those black cleats, going back to a traditionalist look, Tennessee is going to look like the Tennessee that people remember when they were winning. And I get the idea. Okay. Now, is Jeremy Pruitt doing some overcorrecting from the gimmicks of Butch Jones and all the changes that he's doing? Maybe. Time will tell. But maybe Jeremy Pruitt doesn't even care about that. He's like, hey, guys, this is Tennessee. We don't have all these goofy-looking things on our uniforms. We're just going to have normal uniforms, orange jersey, white pants, white jersey, white pants, white helmet. Works for me. I don't really care what they wear. If they win, they can wear purple for all I care. If you win ball games, I don't care what you wear. And I think Jeremy Pruitt's trying to instill that with this. And this honestly might not even be a Jeremy Pruitt thing. This might be a Philip Fulmer thing. Because, I mean, let's be real, who's more traditionalist when it comes to Tennessee than Philip Fulmer? So it very well could just be a Philip Fulmer thing as well. But it's going to be interesting to see the culture change. And I, uniforms can be very minor changes and things like that. These uniforms, they change all the time. Schools change their uniforms all the time. The fact that Tennessee's going back to that more traditional look makes me, and again, I could be looking into this way too much, but it makes me think that Jeremy Pruitt is the culture change he wants. He wants it to go back to being Tennessee. No gimmicks. No special uniforms. No. We're not Kentucky. Okay? We're not Kentucky. We're not Vanderbilt. We don't need all these fancy looking things on our uniforms. This is what I envision Jeremy Pruitt saying, is those kind of things. And so I hope Jeremy, doesn't just paint this picture and put this charade up that this is what he wants to do, traditional, go back to being Tennessee and all this stuff, and then not win ball games. I don't know. I mean, he's never been a head coach before, but can't say I don't like what he's doing. I'm okay with it. Uniforms are always a divisive issue with any fan base. Most fan bases will want the fancy looking uniforms, but a lot of Tennessee traditionalists don't. And, I think it's very, very interesting to see, where it goes. And if these are true, we'll see. Obviously more will come out in the near future. But you're listening to The Breakfast Blitz with Nick Leffew. Keon Rose will be joining me in just a little while. We'll be right back after this short break. This is News Radio 92.7 FM.
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Early voting begins in Hamilton County. October 28th, you can cast your ballots for a variety of races, including governor and U.S. Senate, along with local positions for sheriff, mayor, commissioners, and school board. You may vote at the Brainerd Rec Center, Collegedale City Hall, the Election Commission off Amnicola, and the Hickson Community Center. Day 2 of testimony in the Labor Day double murder trial is over. A TBI agent spoke to the court and revealed they could not find any gunshot residue on the clothing of Stephen Mobley, the man accused of killing 2 and injuring 1 at a Labor Day party. Mobley maintains his innocence. A former Tunnel Hill police officer has been sentenced to 15 years in prison. Former officer Scott Renew reportedly stole $37,000 from the department's evidence room. According to the GBI, Renew pleaded guilty to 6 counts of theft by taking and 6 counts of violation of office by a public official. Val St. John for Nuga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nuga Radio, 92.7 FM.
Chattanooga weather.
After some patchy morning fog, hot and humid again for your Friday with some sunshine. Can't rule out a spotty afternoon shower storm, but not many. Highs 91 and 93. Tonight, muggy lows into the lower 70s. For Saturday, not much change. Highs 90 to 92. A few more isolated afternoon showers and storms Sunday. Looking for a new career? Georgia Northwestern Technical College is where you need to be, featuring over 200 programs. Get focused. Get hired. Fall admissions deadline is July 31st. Visit gntc.edu. And I'm S'more Gene 12, Chief Meteorologist, Badger 4.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
I got my business up and running, and it's already expanding. I got lucky. Lucky because I found Signal Voice and Data. Signal Voice and Data can incorporate all of my business information sharing and communications seamlessly, keep my costs down, and let me work more productively with endless connectivity no matter where I might be. That's called working smart, not hard. Go to signalvoicetn.com and bring the future of communication to your business today. signalvoicetn.com.
Hey, dude, check this out. Have you ever seen one so big?
Whoa, look at the size of that.
Look at this little itty-bitty one.
Wow, that's really small.
They have them big, small, and everything in between. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives at the knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. We're talking about over 40 brands of knives, including Benchmade, WR Case & Sons, Booker, and all the Frost Cutlery brands. Now, Sam, you've been to the cutlery shop. Is it amazing?
Spectacular. The knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. They have knives, swords, kitchen knives, ammo, and reloading supplies, plus survival gear.
It's the knife shop at Frost Cutlery. Open 7 days a week. Hey, girls, you're going to love this. We're going to the knife shop. Hey, let's not tell them they have ammo and loading supplies. The knife shop at Frost Cutlery opens 7 days a week. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives. You're going to love the knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. The knife shop.
And tell them David Tulis sent you.
Do you hear that? That, my friend, is not what you're thinking. That is the new 2018 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse. Yeah, Indian. Indian motorcycle is more than a bike. It's an experience, an American icon. And Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga is the only place you'll find their new 2018 line. Are you ready to ride? Join the club. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign, 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
You want more business. You want to increase your bottom line. You want to spend less on advertising, imaging your business, and general expenses. You need Trade Bank. When you join Trade Bank, you'll get the benefit of free advertising in our monthly magazine, tradebank.com, emails, and mailouts. Join Trade Bank now and receive your Trade Bank debit card with trade credits to spend any way you want. Trade Bank of Chattanooga. Call now for a free consultation. 877-2202. That's 877-2202. Trade Bank of Chattanooga.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga roofing contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
Nuga Radio.
Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7
Nuga Radio.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Blitz with Nick with you. I am Nick with you. This is New Radio 92.7 FM. And most of the first about Tennessee, Jalen Hurd story, also Tennessee uniform changes, things like that coming up. Obviously, a little bit slow in the sports world this this time of year, but I want to start this segment with kind of a funny story. The 2019 Madden ratings. So Madden 19, their ratings came out. Mostly pretty normal. Funny story though about some catch ratings for 2 quarterbacks, and it's pretty interesting. The 2 quarterbacks are that are in question with their ratings on Madden, or the 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Nick Foles. Now, Tom Brady's rating was 39, his catch rating. Okay, now that's out of 100. Okay, so these are obviously their quarterbacks, so their catch ratings are not going to be very high. But Nick Foles was 32. Now, I'm not sure, but I am pretty sure that Nick Foles caught a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl and Tom Brady dropped one. So, hello, caller. You're on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM. Hey.
This is a Keon special move that I'm activating here, where I call the show and then I arrive at the show later.
Oh well, it works, man.
So I didn't catch what you were talking about because I just called, but
Yeah. So I'm talking about Keon. I'm talking about the Madden ratings that came out. And
this is perfect. I did hear about that.
And how Tom Brady has a 32 catch or 39 catch rating, and Nick Foles has a 32. And one of them caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl, and the other one dropped one.
And the thing was, it was an easy one too. I mean, the drop that Tom Brady had was, it was right in the breadbasket, and he just couldn't hang on to it.
Yeah, it was a great throw. I believe it was Edelman who made the throw. And Tom Brady just wasn't gonna take it, I don't guess. But the reason that I brought the whole story up, Keon, was because the Eagles filed an appeal with Madden.
They did?
Yeah, and they won.
Well, good.
And it's just kind of funny because I mean, Twitter, as you know, when these came out, went crazy. And the Philadelphia Eagles tweeted, they tweeted at Madden NFL, going to have to change Nick Foles' catch rating. 32 just isn't special enough. And then they attached a video of the touchdown, Philly special, where he scored. And then Madden replied to it and said, and they put a little thing over the tweet. They like quote tweeted, they took a picture of the tweet and then tweeted it and put an under review stamp on it. And then as of yesterday, they upped his catch rating. But that doesn't say to what. But it's just funny to me that I know it's a story that really doesn't matter, but I thought it was pretty funny because it was just, it's one of those things that's like, how do you let that happen? I mean, it'd be one thing if he had like a lower catch rating than like, I don't know, Ben Roethlisberger or some random quarterback, but literally when they played against each other and one caught one and one didn't, like, you can't do that, right?
I don't think you can. And what makes it worse for Brady is that Julian Edelman once upon a time was a quarterback. So you're not even catching a pass from a guy that can't throw.
No, it was a beautiful throw.
It was a good throw from a guy that knows what he's doing. So, you know, there's no excuse for him dropping that pass, and there's no excuse for his rating being off. Speaking of Madden ratings, did you hear about Leonard Fournette's Madden rating?
Yeah, I heard he was like, I didn't know I don't remember what it was, but I know he was all up in arms about it and said he wanted out of the game.
His speed rating was an 87.
His speed rating?
He was upset about it. So he tweeted at Madden that his rating was wrong, and they said basically send video of your rating. And he said, you know what? No, I don't need to send you video. You know how fast I am. Just take me out of the game if you're not gonna.
I love it. I love it. You know, Leonard Fournette's one of my favorite players. I love that guy, and that's just funny. First off, how his speed rating is only an 87 blows my mind. The dude once he gets through the line, you ain't catching him.
Right, and I understand that Leonard Fournette has that syndrome of it should be illegal for a guy that big to move that fast. But honestly, like, he is that fast. So
well, it's like he reminds me a lot of Jamal Lewis. Like, you don't expect somebody that big to be able to move that fast. I mean, Jamal was the same way. The thing about Jamal, I mean, Leonard's tall. Jamal wasn't that tall. Jamal was just huge. So maybe that's not the best. Maybe like more of an Eddie George comparison would be a little bit better. But I mean,
yeah, one of those tall running backs that was just freakishly fast. Eddie George in his prime was quick.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he would make that first guy miss, and then if he got to the second level, he was gone. And it wasn't. He was very, very. He was very, very sneaky fast, as they say, because of his size. Nobody thought he was that fast. I think Leonard Fournette's the same way, and it's probably why his speed rating. Now, I'm sure his like truck rating's like 95.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But still, I mean, you got to get the speed rating right. You got to get all these ratings right. People, like, especially players really pay attention to this stuff. Like, I remember a few years back in NBA 2K, you know, John Wall was upset about his speed rating. Like, guys really pay attention to all of this.
They play the games. That's why. I mean, they play them. Like, it's not like they don't play the video game. I mean, they do. Like, I know NBA players, they talk about all the time how they take 2K on road trips with them, and they have, like, tournaments and stuff in the hotel rooms, like, on road trips. So, I mean, you know, it matters to them. Especially if they feel like they've not been treated fairly. Now, obviously, if it's some nobody that goes in there and like, hey, now, why is my rating so low? Well, it's because you suck.
Yeah.
but we're talking about superstars.
If you are a person who is, you know, you're like just a subpar player, how upset can you get? Like, are you like, really? I'm not a 58. I'm more of a 60. Like, how mad can you?
Yeah.
Get?
Come on, give me that 2-point bump up to 60. No, but I agree. I just thought it was very interesting. That Madden changed the rating. I thought that was kind of funny. And two, that the Eagles cared enough to actually about a video game. to make a change. But apparently the Eagles are upset about a lot of their players' ratings, not just Nick Foles' catch rating. So
interesting.
I don't really know. I haven't seen the ratings for all the players yet for the Eagles, but it makes me feel like they're one of those teams that just because they want higher ratings because they won. I mean, I get it, but you won because you're a good team, though. It's not because you had superstars, because they don't have superstars. They just have a really good team.
I don't think they have superstars, but they do have like very, very talented players, and I think they're also very young. So I think there are some guys on that team that could be superstars in the future. But yeah, I agree with you. They're not superstars yet.
Well, their superstar didn't even play in the Super Bowl. So, and Carson Wentz. So I found that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'm sure his rating's really good.
I'm sure his ratings are fine. But yeah, you're not going to convince me that like Nelson Aguilar is a superstar.
No, not even a little bit.
Or even a Pro Bowler.
No. Now he's had what one good year in his career, and I mean that's about it.
Essentially, yeah.
I kind of also wanted to talk about this a little bit too, Keon, to kind of stay on the NFL. You heard about LeSean McCoy?
I did hear about that. That was depressing, and that was a hard one for me to do this week.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
I hear about it.
Well, it's gotten more weird even this morning. A new story came out. LeSean McCoy's ex-girlfriend no longer certain he was involved in her robbery and assault.
See, that's weird, and it's always sketchy whenever the person is like, I'm sure you did it. And then later they're like, well, maybe I'm not so sure. That reeks of, and I should just preface this by saying, because I am not attempting in any way to be sued or get the station sued, this is just my personal speculation, but that reeks of intimidation of some kind. Like, because she was very certain before that he was involved, and all of a sudden, she's not so sure.
Yeah, and the whole story is just weird. I don't know if you know her backstory, but she used to date Marcus Vick.
Oh boy.
And has a kid with Marcus Vick. And
okay, I knew she had a son. I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, it's not McCoy's. It's not Shady's. It's Marcus Vick's. And
that must be forever ago, because that kid's like 13.
Yeah, I think it was while they were in college at Virginia Tech.
Okay.
So there's that. And then, of course, when she called the cops, she said it was McCoy who set her up, that they broke up. And apparently he's been trying to, like, get her to leave that house for a long time.
Yeah, it's his house, and she's sort of taken like the squatter's rights position in his house. So even though he wants her gone, he can't make her leave. And they didn't sign an agreement. This is why you sign a rent agreement with your landlord or whatever, if you're renting, is when it's time for your landlord to throw you and your stuff out, he can just do it. If you don't sign such an agreement, you really can't kick the person out of the house as long as they stay.
Yeah, this whole thing's a mess. Like, first off, if you're LeSean McCoy, what are you doing? Like, why is this even... Freaking, you have enough money. Go buy another house. Just let her have that one. At this point. At this point.
Wait her out. Like, can she really stay in that house forever?
I don't know. This has just been, because like I'm reading this article came out this morning. This one I'm looking at, and because I was going to talk about the whole situation, but I didn't realize it had more developing info as of this morning. The weird part of the whole story is that the assailant who came in, there was no forced entry. Like, he came in without any, like, you didn't have to break in.
That seems like, you had a key. Is what
or somebody doesn't know how to lock a door.
Yeah, which is also part of it.
Which is also possible.
Those two things.
You know, and
I don't know.
LaShawn McCoy's had history of this kind of stuff too. You know, I think he had, didn't he in college, like he get in trouble for some domestic issue as well? Like, I feel like, what if you're the NFL, what do you do? You can't suspend him.
You know, I don't know. This is a nightmare, and I don't think you suspend him immediately anyway. What I think you do is the same thing that you did with Ezekiel Elliott, where you just take the time and do the investigation, and then once you decide that you've got all the facts, then you go ahead and do what you have to do.
Not to put, you know, not to like poo-poo on domestic violence, but we're not talking about just domestic violence here. We're talking about theft. I don't know if it was armed robbery or not. And then, you know, if it's armed robbery, you're talking about maybe with some intent to do something else. I don't know. This might be out of the NFL's hands at this point.
Well, it definitely is. But while you're waiting on the legal matters, and I think maybe even that's possible, you're the NFL, you just wait for the authorities to sort it out, and then you can go ahead and do what you need to do based on the information that they've gathered and provided. Because I just think that you're in this weird place where, because she's not necessarily trustworthy either, and she's retracted her story a bunch of times, and then he's clearly lying about some stuff. And I'm again not clear on what he's lying about and what he's not lying about, but you just are in this weird place where you don't know what's true and what's not true with either of them.
Yeah, it's a mess. And the fact that she keeps like backing her story up and changing it, and then that friend that she had that tweeted the picture, and I mean it, or went to Instagram or whatever, because isn't she like an Instagram model?
She is an Instagram model, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What a mess. What a mess this is. And kind of close this segment out, Kiana, I want to get your thoughts on a story I talked about a good portion of the first segment. Just because this LaShawn McCoy thing depresses me and I don't really want to talk about it anymore. Jalen Hurd, did you see the article about Jalen Hurd on Bleacher Report?
I didn't read the whole thing, but I did see it, and man,
so
good luck, man.
Well, not only that, another wonderful side of Butch Jones it looks like we got to see from that article. Completely lying to Jalen Hurd for 3 years. There was a Tennessee it was an anonymous Tennessee assistant in there. Okay. Said that nobody gave more to the University of Tennessee than Jalen Hurd. He did what he was asked. He played hurt. And
I believe it.
And they also said that when they started 5-0, that assistant said that when they lost 3 in a row, they needed a scapegoat, and Butch Jones chose Jalen Hurd to be that scapegoat.
Wow. I never blamed Jalen Hurd for leaving, but this definitely solidifies that.
Well, I don't ever blame a kid for leaving a situation where they don't think they can be successful. Obviously, Jalen was very successful. He's the second all-time leading rusher in Tennessee history. But if he felt like he was being mismanaged like that and being let play hurt with concussions, I completely don't. It doesn't bother me at all. Obviously, at the time, when you're fed all that crap by Butch Jones, you obviously are like, man, that kid just quit on his teammates. And
and that's how people thought. People were like, well, couldn't he just wait till the end of the year? And I always
not if they're playing him with a concussion.
Yeah, right. Like for me, I always wonder why people never take the side of the players on this, where it's like, okay, he's not waiting till the end of the year to leave. You have two options on what you can believe that he is. You can either believe that he is a scumbag, which is where everyone immediately jumped, or you can believe that this is a guy that's so desperate to leave a toxic situation that essentially he couldn't wait till the end of the year. He didn't want anything to do with that organization anymore.
Can I give you, from a Tennessee fan, my opinion of why people jumped on Hurd?
Sure.
It's because Tennessee fans didn't want to believe that their coach was bad again. Because at that point, Tennessee had gotten things going a little bit. You're starting to see a rise of a program, and you wanted Butch Jones to be the guy. And so you're going to always side on him until he gives you a reason not to. Now, I was always skeptical of the whole situation because I had seen it done before. The man had mismanaged careers everywhere he's been. The guy had Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown didn't do anything in college. The guy had.
How do you even manage that? Even Calvin Johnson, in a system not designed for him to succeed, was able to make a name for himself in college. How do you have?
He had J.J. Watt playing tight end until he transferred.
Oh man.
So, those are the kind of things that it's obvious it was all on Butch Jones. But the thing is, with Jalen Hurd, he's moved positions. He even offered to switch positions at Tennessee because he wanted to be more of a perimeter guy. He had all these concussions over the few years. He's like, I don't want to run in between the tackles and continue to put my body at that. Can we move? They said no, but we'll change the offense to where you run on the perimeter so you're not between the tackles. And they didn't do it.
Yeah, Butch Jones, to me, you hear about him in retrospect, and the more you hear, the more you don't like the guy.
Yeah, he's just not a good dude. And, I'm going to wish him the best. I hope he does go and he does do great things somewhere else. I really do. I'm never going to wish ill will upon anyone. But Butch Jones is one of those guys that if he goes and has success somewhere else, that's great for him. But I would never want him back here, no matter how successful he was. There's too much baggage with Butch Jones, and I don't know if he'll ever get another chance. All right, Keon. Well, we've reached the end of hour one. I'll see you in a little bit in the studio. This is The Breakfast Blitz with Nick Leffew and Keon Rose. We'll be back. 92.7 FM New Radio.
Hi, David Toulis. I made the move, and I hope you will too. David Toulis, Nougat Radio, 1 o'clock every weekday afternoon, 1 till 3 here at Nougat Radio.
92.7. 3, 2, 1.
Chatter, Nougat Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
Case dismissed for a 14-year-old girl. She was arrested by the Chattanooga police when she was dragged from a car. She's had her case dismissed now. That girl was sitting in a running vehicle in front of the courthouse when officers told her to get out of the car. She refused, and the police pulled her out of the car forcibly. The police later released body cam footage of the incident to try to clear the air. It didn't work. The dismissal comes after City Councilwoman Demetrius Coonrod called for change of culture in the CPD. Jacob Allison is in the news again. He was convicted in the Lookout Valley triple murder case. Now the police say he was involved in a car crash that injured a child. He's accused of leaving the scene of that accident along with reckless endangerment and domestic violence. Early voting begins today in Hamilton County and continues until the 28th. You can cast your ballot for a variety of races, including governor, U.S. Senate, and multiple local races. Russell Stroud, Nougat Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nougat Radio 92.7 FM.
Chattanooga weather.
After some patchy morning fog, hot and humid again for your Friday with some sunshine. Can't rule out a spotty afternoon shower storm, but not many. Highs 91 to 93. Tonight, muggy lows into the lower 70s. For Saturday, not much change. Highs 90 to 92. A few more isolated afternoon showers and storms Sunday. Looking for a new career? Georgia Northwestern Technical College is where you need to be, featuring over 200 programs. Get focused. Get hired. Fall admissions deadline is July 31st. Visit gntc.edu. And I'm S'more Gene 12, Chief Meteorologist, Matt Report.
Nougat Radio 92.7.
Hey, Karen, you need me for that 1 o'clock?
Yes, Cheese, please. Karen, did you get the quarterlies done? Yep, they're filed in the cabinet.
Karen, can you describe the initiatives to the new hire? Thanks.
Oh, sure. Full-bodied, some floral notes, maybe a hint of dark chocolate.
Am I in the right department?
Got wine on the mind? Come unwind at Virgola. Italian wine, oysters, caviar, cheeses, and more. Perfect after work or a romantic date night. Virgola Italian Wine Bar, 608 Georgia Avenue.
Now, Rick wants you to buy on U.S. Gold American coins. Are you tired of making 1% on your investments with the banks? Even 2 or 3% at best? Now, Rick wants you to buy on U.S. Gold American coins.
Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, Brainerd Road.
Wow, Triumph Spitfire. I haven't seen one of those in ages. Boy, is it gorgeous.
Thanks. It was my grandfather's. Drives like a dream.
Where do you go to keep it up?
Rivermont Pure. I never thought I'd find a place, but they specialize in older and European cars. They get the hard-to-find parts and treat me right every time.
Rivermont Pure?
Yeah, they're on Hickson Pike across from Lupton Drive. I found them online at rivermontpureservice.com.
Rivermont Pure, import or domestic. If it rolls, they work it.
You know, this isn't working.
What?
I've always wanted to see Italy.
Oh, let me call Lisa.
With 20 years in the travel industry, Lisa Tanner and travel makers can make any dream destination come true. Think of Lisa as your own 24/7 travel concierge. Pick a place and she'll customize every detail. Go to lisatannertravel.com to plan your next travel experience.
Now this is incredible. Think Lisa can get us a layover in Greece?
Travel makers, we sell the world.
Broadcasting live to over 1 million souls in Chattanooga, the Tennessee Valley, and beyond on frequency modulation 92.7. Sean Hannity. 25,000 watts on digital FM 95.3 HD4. CBS Radio News. NASCAR, Bloomberg Markets, David Toulis, streaming strong at NugaRadio.com. Live on YouTube and Facebook. Nuga Radio, News Talk 92.7. Chattanooga Radio.
Low. Charge! Get back there, you dang Yankee! Great horny toads! I'm up north!
WPLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga.
Serving Chattanooga!
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe, the Tennessee Valley's most listened to news talk station.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by ZipRecruiter.
I'm Peter King. Russian officials say yesterday's indictments of 12 of its intelligence officers are a hatchet job that was timed to ruin Monday's Trump-Putin summit in Helsinki. Correspondent Errol Barnett says the evidence says otherwise.
The United States government made its case clear on Friday. Russia conducted a sophisticated operation to undermine the democratic process and really throw a wrench in the U.S. electoral system. Now, some lawmakers are calling for the president to call off his upcoming meeting with President Putin.
The White House says that's not going to happen. Mr. Trump has said that he will discuss it with Putin. The president is at his golf resort in Glasgow, Scotland. Protesters have taken the snarling baby Trump balloon nearby after yesterday's demonstrations in London, and there was this.
It was a remarkable breach of security. Around 20 minutes after the president arrived at his Turnberry Golf Resort, a Greenpeace protester flying a motorized paraglider entered the no-fly zone and buzzed over. At the time, Mr. Trump was standing on the hotel terrace with a number of aides. He calmly moved inside. Greenpeace says it informed authorities before the incident took place. Scotland police have opened a criminal inquiry. Steve Futterman, CBS News, Glasgow.
The new court order gives the Trump administration 12 more days to reunite about 2,500 young immigrant children with their families after they were separated at the border. The government says 58 children have been reunited. ACLU attorney Lee Gallert says it took a judge's action to make it happen.
It became clear to us since we still didn't have a list and that there still wasn't really a plan for the under fives. And I think, I don't want to put words in Your Honor's mouth, but I think it became somewhat clear to Your Honor that you would have to be involved in this process.
Israeli warplanes have hit new targets on the Gaza Strip after another round of violent protests on the border. CBS's Robert Berger is in Jerusalem.
Israeli warplanes struck several Palestinian militant targets in Gaza, including 2 Hamas tunnels the army said could be used for cross-border attacks. The airstrikes came after Palestinian militants fired more than 30 rockets and mortars at Israeli communities. Air raid sirens sounded in some southern Israel throughout the night.
From Thailand, new video of the soccer team saved from a flooded cave this past week. Here's CBS's Anna Werner.
The kids are really cute. They're thanking everyone for rescuing them. They asked them, what do you want to eat? One of the kids said, I really want sushi. You know, they haven't been able to eat regular food in the hospital much. And the word is they'll be coming home later this week, possibly Thursday.
This is CBS News.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified candidates for businesses of all sizes. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, Tom Bodette. There's a saying, if you love something, set it free. Well, Motel 6 must really love Wi-Fi because we just set it free. You're free, little Wi-Fi. Fly like a bird into the ether. Net. Of course, Motel 6 can't really set it free. We just made it free at all of our more than 1,400 locations. But that's semantics, something else we don't charge you for. I'm Tom Bodette, and we'll leave the Wi-Fi on for you. Look online at motel6.com.
Macy's Star Rewards program is bigger, better, and now for everyone. For the first time ever, get rewards no matter how you pay. Join as a bronze member and get Star Money Days. Earn towards Star Money and use it with no merchandise exclusions. Perks and offers. Enjoy extra savings offers at checkout, event invitations, and more, plus a birthday surprise. And as a Macy's credit card holder, silver, gold, and platinum members automatically get bronze benefits in addition to your existing ones. Macy's Star Rewards program. Sign up in-store or online. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Macys.com/Star Rewards.
How about this for a great doubleheader?
What to do when your world tour coincides with the World Cup finals? Beyonce and Jay-Z are throwing a viewing party before tomorrow's France-Croatia match. The game will play on a giant screen at their On the Run 2 tour at the Stade de France in Paris. When it's over, Jay and Bey will go on with their own show. The couple taking a cue from Justin Bieber, who put up screens for the England-Croatia match before his show at the O2 Arena Tuesday. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Orlando police are trying to solve the mystery of a teenage girl found tied to a tree. Officers say whoever did it used her earbuds to tie up her wrists. Good news for California drivers who don't mind giving up a Saturday to go to the DMV. The state says it's opening 17 offices on Saturdays to handle the overflow after customers complained about extra long lines. Peter King, CBS News.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM. 3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Case dismissed for a 14-year-old girl. She was arrested by the Chattanooga police when she was dragged from a car. She's had her case dismissed now. That girl was sitting in a running vehicle in front of the courthouse when officers told her to get out of the car. She refused, and the police pulled her out of the car forcibly. The police later released body cam footage of the incident to try to clear the air. It didn't work. The dismissal comes after City Councilwoman Demetrius Coonrod called for change of culture in the CPD. Jacob Allison is in the news again. He was convicted in the Lookout Valley triple murder case. Now the police say he was involved in a car crash that injured a child. He's accused of leaving the scene of that accident along with reckless endangerment and domestic violence. Early voting begins today in Hamilton County and continues until the 28th. You can cast your ballot for a variety of races, including governor, U.S. Senate, and multiple local races. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Nooga Radio 92.7. Chattanooga weather.
After some patchy morning fog, hot and humid again for your Friday with some sunshine. Can't rule out a spotty afternoon shower storm, but not many. Highs 91 to 93. Tonight, muggy lows into the lower 70s. For Saturday, not much change. Highs 90 to 92. A few more isolated afternoon showers and storms Sunday. Looking for a new career? Georgia Northwestern Technical College is where you need to be, featuring over 200 programs. Get focused. Get hired. Fall admissions deadline is July 31st. Visit gntc.edu. And I'm S'more Gene 12, Chief Meteorologist, Matt Report.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
We just started a family and we're already planning for the future. Michael Levy has helped pave the way to keep our financial future on track. He's local, he knows us, and cares about what's important to us. Don't put your future on hold. Call Michael Levy, 779-7755.
Gold, 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 and more gold. And always buy American. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll always get better rates than the banks. We'll convert your silver, diamonds, cash into gold, gold, gold. Precious
American Gold. Certified by the federal government. By American. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. 499-9162. Call 499-9162. And visit Rick at 5301 Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. Gold, 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 and more gold.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Hello? Who am I speaking with? Eric. You're our winner. Really?
You'll receive tickets for all 3 races between the Camping World Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Monster Energy Cup races.
Holy cow.
In addition, you'll receive a 2-night stay at the Microtel Hotel and restaurant accommodations at 2 area restaurants.
Nuga Radio.
Roar into Talladega.
Nuga Radio. 92.7.
Your NASCAR racing station. Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Blitz. Radio 92.7 FM. We've kind of bounced around with a lot of different topics this morning because there's not a lot going on in the sports world.
Yeah, that's one of the follies of summertime. You get caught in this world where you don't have a whole lot to talk about, but you have the same time to fill as you've always had to fill.
Isn't it great?
It's glorious.
Isn't it great?
And once the NBA season, like once free agency kind of starts wrapping up, you're like, oh boy,
we can talk about summer league basketball. I mean,
you can a little.
You can, and you
know, like DeAndre Ayton is destroying people, and I love it. It's great.
God, some of the blocks he's had.
I know he's everything that the Suns thought he was going to be, and I'm so happy for him.
I think he might be better.
Yeah, but like, because it doesn't tell you anything when a guy is dominating in summer league. But if a guy struggles in summer league, that tells you just about everything you need to know.
That's why I think Trae Young's recent, ascent to actually playing good basketball is a good sign for the Hawks.
Is a good sign. And I thought he would have to come around eventually. That summer league team that the Hawks have thrown out there, like he's alone. He's all alone.
Yeah, it's
There's one other kid on that squad. I forget his name, but that's it. I mean,
I watched a little bit when they played Portland. It was on ESPN. It was like at 10:30 at night. I watched about 10 minutes of it before I fell asleep. But Trae looks fine. I think he's going to be fine. The good news is that they can now probably trade Schroeder because they signed. Who'd they sign? That other point guard. They signed somebody. Sorry, that's my fault. I shouldn't have brought that up. But they signed another point guard, a veteran, where now they can probably trade Schroeder.
Yeah, I mean, if Schroeder doesn't wind up in prison, then they can probably trade him. Yeah, that's he got himself up in some legal stuff. Let's see here.
But Trae last couple of games he's averaging about 24 points a game, six assists. I mean, if he's going to do that for you, you're going to be in pretty good shape. If he can put those kind of numbers up, I mean, you're talking about somebody who if he plays like that, he could be in a rookie of the year conversation. But I obviously, you can't take away a lot from summer league. But I think Trae's looking a lot better.
See, they signed Quinn Cook.
That wasn't
a 2-year deal. All right, let's see here.
Maybe I've lost my mind, but I swore they signed a veteran.
They traded Jeremy Lin to the Hawks.
That's what it was. They got Lin, and so at that point I think you can get rid of Schroeder.
Absolutely.
And because Lin's still a good player.
He is. He's just got to stay healthy. Yeah. I mean, he's not like Lin Sanity, Jeremy Lin. Like I don't know if he'll ever get back to that. But
he'll always cut his hair too.
Look.
The ponytail doesn't work, bro.
The ponytail doesn't work. I remember he also went through like the dreads phase, which the dreads just didn't work for him. I think dreads really can work with like Asian guys. Like it just didn't work with Jeremy Lin. Like I just didn't like them on his head.
No, he looks like a tiny sumo wrestler right now. He needs to fix it.
And then he had he went with the spiked mohawk for a while, and I was like, why are you attempting to look like Sonic the Hedgehog? There's no reason for that look for you. Stop doing it. It's a mistake.
Yeah.
But no, he's a good point guard. He just can't be.
He can't be the guy.
He can't be the guy. But if you've got Trae Young and Jeremy Lin, I mean that's
a good duo.
That's a good duo, and they're very different in their style, so that also changes things up a little bit too.
I think Trae can learn a lot from Jeremy too. I think Jeremy is one of the. I don't know. I always liked the way he played. Especially when he was in New York, when Linsanity was going on and everything, obviously you like what he did, but I think he's always been just solid. You know what you're gonna get from him, and you don't expect a ton, but the thing is, his highs are not very high, but his lows are not very low. And so he's going to play, he's going to be solid. He's going to probably average you 12 points a game.
Yeah, he'll give you anywhere from 12 to 15 points and, 4 to 6 assists, which is good.
Especially for a backup point guard.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
That's perfectly doable, and you can live with that. And yeah, you get away from Schroeder, who, even if you could keep him, might not be a free man. I think it was a domestic case he got involved in. And it's just, you can't do that at all. And I don't know, man, especially as a foreign player in America, like they're just going to come down on you harder. You just don't get wrapped up in that stuff, dude. But he couldn't do it.
It's all about who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And he does not surround himself with the best people. And when you do that, that's kind of what happens.
Which is weird because like a lot of foreign players usually do have a good team of guys around them. Foreign guys playing in America tend not to get in trouble in that particular kind of way. So I just thought it was weird that stuff came out about him. And that, it'll have to be proven in a court of law, obviously. But there's a lot of evidence stacked against him, and it doesn't look good.
No, and that doesn't look good for the Hawks to get rid of him either. Like, he's going to want to.
They might just have to bite the bullet on that one, though. They're still on his rookie deal, so it's not like they gave him a max or something, and then
how many years he got left? 1 or 2?
I think it's 2.
Yeah, you'd like to be able to free up the roster spot, though.
You would, and if he. And I don't know how long it's going to take before like the court proceedings actually start. But if he does actually get convicted with anything, I think the NBA would allow the Hawks to do that. So, yeah, it helps, I suppose. But it's a sticky situation.
Yeah.
But I think the Hawks' actual NBA team is going to be a better unit playing with Trae Young, provided he does not take stupid shots. Because he's just one of those guys. He's like, oh, as soon as I cross half court, I can shoot it, and he can, but that doesn't mean you should.
No, you're not Steph Curry.
Yeah, and even Steph doesn't.
No, not unless it's absolutely necessary.
Not unless it's necessary, or they've already got like a 10-point lead, and he's like, what if we made this a 20-point lead?
Yeah, you're right. But you have you're doing something awesome this evening, and it kind of brought up a point that we were going to talk about.
Yeah, so I'd like you to come on down to the Lookouts game and watch me throw out the ceremonial first pitch for the Lookouts. I went shopping yesterday, got myself a Lookouts hat, so pretty excited about that. But yeah, I'm very excited about this. My issue here is I'm trying not to embarrass myself. That pitch, it's got to make it to home plate, and it's got to be in a place where reasonably the catcher can catch it. Outside of that, I have no other stipulations, but I got nervous, and in my neuroticism, I looked up worst pitches, and what that did was, it's like, okay, for me, it's like, how bad can it get? Like, I can't be as bad as blank. It actually made things worse because I was like, man,
what if I do this?
What if I do this? Especially when you look at the list of people who have had some bad pitches. So we can talk about the worst opening pitches in baseball history, because I am an aficionado in these things. I am well versed, well researched. But even before this, I already had a Mount Rushmore of pitches.
Yeah. Well, the one in Cincinnati, the mayor. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember that one.
Okay, that one was really bad. That one's on my top. that one's on my. He threw it here. He threw it. He threw it like so far left it hit the umpire.
Oh man.
Yeah, and the umpire threw him out of the game.
I mean, might as well. Like, you can't even stay here and watch after that.
It was funny.
How can you stand there in good conscience and watch this game after that? Really?
What was your favorite one?
My favorite one. There's a reason why I have I made a Rushmore of it because
there's so many.
There's so many, and it's hard for me to choose. Mariah Carey might be my favorite because she did hers in Japan, which is why she gets away with it. That and also it's prime Mariah Carey. So after she completely botches the pitch, she kind of does the cutesy smile and wave, and she just got forgiven in that moment. But I haven't forgotten Mariah Carey. I didn't forget. She throws it and it goes directly into the mound. It doesn't even get past the mound. When you look at some of these pitches that don't get far, they go into the ground, a lot of it is that people who are not used to pitching on a pitcher's mound step down. They're trying to push the ball and then, just down it goes. And they kind of lose it at the last second. Mariah Carey, she didn't move her hips. She didn't move at all. She just kind of threw it. It went straight down. It would literally have gone farther if she dropped it. If she dropped it. And I don't understand how in her mind that was ever going to work. Has she thrown anything in her life? Hey, Mariah, toss me the keys. Ever anything? It's like she's never thrown an object before at all.
Here's my thing. If you're going to do this, okay, if you're going to throw out a first pitch, especially at a major league level where you're going to probably be on TV, okay, would you not try throwing off of a mound at least once?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Throwing off of a mound is not an easy thing to do.
It is not, no.
You have to actually throw the ball, and like you said, not push it. Your release point's very important. You're going to have kind of a higher release point from a mound, so you don't, when you release right here, it's going to go straight into the ground. You release a little higher, it's going to... But, honestly, if you don't feel comfortable throwing off of a mound, if you're doing a ceremonial first pitch, then don't throw off the mound.
It's fine. But let's put it this way. I was watching the best pitches as well, and there was a guy who was in the Boston Marathon, and he was in a wheelchair, and he threw a strike. He wasn't on the mound. He was next to the mound. But he was sitting in a wheelchair. So if that guy can... he threw a strike.
Pressure's on, Keon.
From a wheelchair. And of course, and we're going to have people Facebook live streaming this.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there.
So you'll be there. One of our sales guys is going to be there. So there's going to be video evidence of this. There'll be nowhere for me to hide my shame. I told my mom that I was going to be throwing out the first pitch. My mom, who does not watch baseball, said, "You better get it there." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm going to shame my family name."
I would rather you throw it over the catcher's head than bounce it.
That is correct, because this is what's going to happen if I throw it over everything. I'm going to kiss my bicep and walk away, and I'll be okay with that. You know what I mean? Oh boy, that Keon Rose, he doesn't know his own strength. What you're not going to say about me is it didn't get to the plate. You're not going to say that about me. And, people are confused because John Wall is another one of my favorite bad pitches, because John Wall is a great NBA passer. He's apparently not a great baseball pitcher.
Throwing a baseball is not an easy thing to do.
No, and I think it looks easier on TV than people give it a whole lot of credit for. The last time I touched a baseball before yesterday, because of course I'm not just going to show up, right? I bought a baseball at Walmart and I went to my backyard, and I kind of counted out 60 feet. I averaged it in the backyard, and then threw the ball against my fence for a little bit.
You should have stood on a bucket while you.
That would have helped. A bucket, or gotten. I'm sure there's something in my room I could use.
You got a bunch of towels and piled them up.
Yeah, something. But I just had to throw it at least. And of course, actually, my first throw did go directly into the ground. So I was like, I'm glad I exercised that demon and just got it out of the way. Because to do that in front of everyone I can't do that. And I'm a guy. They're not going to give me a second chance.
No, you might get booed.
I will absolutely get booed. There's no way I don't get booed.
I'll boo you.
Because they're going to say now, representing Nuga Radio 92.7, sports host Keon Rose for the ceremonial first pitch. Being a sports host, I don't get any leeway here.
No, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
None. In the same way that there are just certain people, it's worse. It's worse when John Wall messes up a pitch.
Because he's an athlete.
It's worse. We watched the Carl Lewis one.
Carl Lewis.
Which Carl Lewis is too many moments in infamy. Carl Lewis needed to just be in the spotlight less because Carl Lewis also had the national anthem that he botched, which is my favorite thing that has ever happened in sports. Literally my favorite thing.
God, it's so great.
So we can talk about that another time, but Carl Lewis's opening pitch was horrible, and Carl Lewis seemed more surprised that his pitch was bad than anyone. And I don't even understand how he thought it was going to be bad. It couldn't be good. The way that he threw it, it was like he swung his arm around to throw it over, like I guess to throw an over the top pitch, like I don't know.
Yeah, it was bad.
So he sort of looked like a proto Tim Lincecum, except awful.
What about the Miss Texas girl who tried to underhand it?
Yeah, Miss Texas threw an opening pitch at a Rangers game, and she tried to underhand it and forgot apparently that she wasn't in a bowling alley because it didn't even make it off the ground. I mean, she just rolled it. And here's the thing: if she rolled it straight, maybe that's not as memorable. It went right. It didn't even go to the plate.
No, it's like she threw it and she hit her leg, and so the ball just went.
But again, she did the cutesy woman thing. Like there's no thing I could do. I'm not a model. I'm not Mariah Carey. I'm a guy. This is gonna end badly for me if I can't throw this properly. And here's the thing: Sam Jordan, who is out of town for a wedding, gave me this responsibility, and I leapt at the opportunity, quite frankly. But we got on him about the bike forever. If I don't throw this pitch well, he will literally never let me forget it. He might staple it to my forehead.
There might be a picture hanging up in the studio.
Forever, for all eternity, so that the world can know my shame. And I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Okay.
I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Well, so the biggest thing is just make sure your release point is high.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't release it past.
Even if I've got to just lob it.
Hey.
Just get it there. Like I saw, like Michael Phelps had a really good one. It wasn't special, but this is, I forget what they call it in game theory. It's not a zero-sum game. Might be a non-zero-sum game, but it's a game where you have nothing to gain and everything to lose. If you throw an opening pitch well, that's what everyone expects.
Yeah.
You don't get any credit for throwing a good opening pitch.
Yeah.
But if you throw a bad one, the world remembers. And, I really don't want this to be the last opening pitch that I ever throw.
Yeah, I agree. The thing about it is, nobody will talk about it if you do it right.
Right. And my example of this is John Wall. He threw a second one, like the next year. He went back and it was fine. And no one ever talks about the good one that he threw. It's that one that he threw that went straight into the grass that everyone remembers.
He was trying to throw a bounce pass.
Well, he is a point guard. But, it looked terrible. It looked terrible, and no one will ever let him forget it. But the 50 Cent one is also terrible because he didn't even throw it. Yeah, he just kind of shrugged. Like, no, you don't get to shrug. You are supposed to be this macho, masculine rapper. You don't get to just shrug.
Wasn't even close.
No. It was as he lost it as he was coming forward, but it just went to the left. And he threw it with his left hand. And is 50 Cent even left-handed?
I don't know, but how does it go left if you're throwing this way?
I don't there's no explanation for it. There's no explanation for it at all.
He had to point it that way. Like there's no.
He wasn't even looking that way. Like it was kind of like a no-look pass. That no-look pass that LeBron threw early in the year, where he looked to his right and flicked it to the left. That's what that looked like. Except, of course, that's not anywhere where home plate was. So that can't be your pitch.
What about Jordan's?
Jordan's was bad, but good. Jordan had the one where he overthrew it. What makes Jordan's bad is he played baseball.
On a professional level.
On a professional level. He interrupted his basketball career to play baseball for 2 years. So long enough to at least throw that well. He doesn't have to be perfect.
But good Lord, get it to the catcher.
But get it to the catcher.
Not over the catcher.
Over everything. Now, if I throw it over everything, I'm not an athlete. That would actually be alarming to me if I threw it over everything. At no point in my throwing anything yesterday did I throw anything over anything. So I was a little bit worried too, because like my house was like right behind it, and I didn't want to like knock out a window. I'm renting, so that's not a good move for me. But you know, I really just was like, can I even get it there? And I proved to myself rather consistently I can get it there.
Now you just got to do it off of a mound.
Now I just got to do it off of a mound.
In front of a lot of people.
I could step in front of the mound, but again, I feel like I'm not going to get leeway for that one. It's got to be on the mound. I'm just going to try and keep the release point high, let it roll off the fingers, and just let that be that.
You know, my favorite one, and we'll get to this right before the break. My favorite one of all time is the one that George W. Bush did in 2001, right after September 11th in Shea Stadium. It might have been Yankee Stadium. It was one of the two New York stadiums. And he wasn't even supposed to go all the way up to the mound. The Secret Service didn't want him to, and he did. And then, of course, he threw a strike because why not?
Yeah, because W was W's pretty athletic dude.
He was.
He, you know, one of our most athletic presidents.
He was an athlete.
We had a good run there because like Obama's athletic.
Bush
was athletic. Clinton ran, at least in his first term, he ran a lot. You know, streaks ended.
Streak has definitely ended on our athletic president.
Trump's not an athlete.
Definitely not.
Loves McDonald's too much, and golf is not cardio-wise as demanding enough of a sport to count.
Exactly. You're listening to the Breakfast Blitz with Nick Leffew and Keon Rose. We'll be right back for the final segment of this week's show. New Radio 92.7 FM.
Traffic, news, and information. Nuga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Early voting begins in Hamilton County. Until the 28th, you can cast your ballots for a variety of races, including governor and U.S. Senate, along with local positions for sheriff, mayor, commissioners, and school board. You may vote at the Brainerd Rec Center, Collegedale City Hall, the Election Commission off Amnicola, and the Hickson Community Center. Day 2 of testimony in the Labor Day double murder trial is over. A TBI agent spoke to the court and revealed they could not find any gunshot residue on the clothing of Stephen Mobley, the man accused of killing 2 and injuring 1 at a Labor Day party. Mobley maintains his innocence. A former Tunnel Hill police officer has been sentenced to 15 years in prison. Former officer Scott Renew reportedly stole $37,000 from the department's evidence room. According to the GBI, Renew pleaded guilty to 6 counts of theft by taking and 6 counts of violation of office by a public official. Val St. John for Nuga Radio, News Talk 92.7, Action News now.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nuga Radio, 92.7 FM.
Chattanooga weather.
After some patchy morning fog, hot and humid again for your Friday with some sunshine. Can't rule out a spotty afternoon shower storm, but not many. Highs 91 to 93. Tonight, muggy lows into the lower 70s. For Saturday, not much change. Highs 90 to 92. A few more isolated afternoon showers and storms Sunday. Looking for a new career? Georgia Northwestern Technical College is where you need to be, featuring over 200 programs. Get focused. Get hired. Fall admissions deadline is July 31st. Visit gntc.edu. And I'm SOAR Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Report.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
I got my business up and running, and it's already expanding. I got lucky. Lucky because I found Signal Voice and Data. Signal Voice and Data can incorporate all of my business information sharing and communications seamlessly, keep my costs down, and let me work more productively with endless connectivity no matter where I might be. That's called working smart, not hard. Go to signalvoicetn.com and bring the future of communication to your business today. Signalvoicetn.com.
Hey, dude, check this out. Have you ever seen one so big? Whoa, look at the size of that.
Look at this little itty bitty one.
Wow, that's really small. They have them big, small, and everything in between. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives at the knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. We're talking about over 40 brands of knives, including bench Benchmade, WR Case & Sons, Booker, and all the Frost Cutlery brands. Now, Sam, you've been to the cutlery shop. Is it amazing?
Spectacular. The knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. They have knives, swords, kitchen knives, ammo, and reloading supplies, plus survival gear.
It's the knife shop at Frost Cutlery. Open 7 days a week. Hey, girls, you're going to love this. We're going to the knife shop.
Hey, let's not tell them they have ammo and loading supplies.
The knife shop at Frost Cutlery opens 7 days a week. You'll always find the biggest variety of knives. You're going to love the knife shop at Frost Cutlery in Ottawa. The knife shop.
And tell them David Toulis sent you.
Do you hear that? That, my friend, is not what you're thinking. That is the new 2018 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse. Yeah, Indian. Indian motorcycle is more than a bike. It's an experience, an American icon. And Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga is the only place you'll find their new 2018 line. Are you ready to ride? Join the club. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign, 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
You want more business. You want to increase your bottom line. You want to spend less on advertising, imaging your business, and general expenses. You need Trade Bank. When you join Trade Bank, you'll get the benefit of free advertising in our monthly magazine, tradebank.com, emails, and mailouts. Join Trade Bank now and receive your Trade Bank debit card with trade credits to spend any way you want. Trade Bank of Chattanooga. Call now for a free consultation. 877-2202. That's 877-2202. Trade Bank of Chattanooga.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga roofing contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
Nuga Radio. Are you brain dead? Still voting for pathetic liberals? Take 3 hours of Sean Hannity from 3 to 6.
Nuga Radio.
Then call us in the morning between 9 and 11.
92.7
Nuga Radio.
Welcome back to Breakfast with the John Rose, 97 FM Nuga Radio. And as we close into the last segment, we've kind of hit a point where in the sports calendar, there's not a whole lot going on. We get in a couple of weeks we get OTA, or not OTAs, but some summer camps for NFL here in the next few weeks. College camps start up here in a couple of weeks. I know Tennessee's doing a fan day on August the 5th, Sunday, August 5th. They're doing a fan day where they're doing like a practice and stuff like that in Neyland. And so it's getting close. We're 50 or 49 days away from college football kicking off. First full Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, around this time of year, what you do is you have like topics to discuss. Really. It's you're just going to have to generate the content yourself. But so I have something we could talk about because we spent a lot of time during the NBA playoffs talking about LeBron James and, who's the greatest of all time and who deserves to be even in the conversation. I like Sam's idea of separating that off into tiers. Of like who's tier 1, who's tier 2. I think he's insane because he has LeBron in tier 2, which is just, wow, really? Like, I can understand.
I mean, how many players are we putting in each tier?
It just depends. And that's what the subjective part and where we're like actually going to have to argue it comes in. I think there's some guys that are just very obviously in tier 1. You got Magic, Kareem, Jordan, Russell. I think LeBron is obviously in tier 1. I have no idea what Sam's smoking on that one. But also Sam hasn't watched basketball since the 80s.
Yeah.
So I think Charles is a tier 1 guy because he just was that good. His teams were just awful. Yeah. Olajuwon is a tier 1 guy. Oscar Robinson. Yeah. And then you've got, I don't know, tier 2 guys. Karl Malone, Kobe. And yeah, the Kobe stands are going to just rise up and, murder everyone because they just can't hear that Kobe's not like the great. But Kobe is an exact clone of Michael Jordan. And I just think if you play the exact way that Michael Jordan played, you can't be. And Kobe's not as physically gifted as Michael. As much as he used his skill set and absolutely peaked out his skill set and made shots that humans don't make.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an insult to be a tier 2 guy.
No.
In any way.
No, not at all.
I've got Karl Malone. I would say Steve Nash.
Yeah.
Is a tier 2 guy brilliant?
Dirk maybe? Or is he more tier 3?
I would say Dirk's. I would have to put Dirk in tier 2. Dirk is one of those weird ones to me because I almost want to put him in 1 because.
Where would you put a guy like Larry Bird? I mean, I know it's hard because he wasn't healthy.
He wasn't healthy, but Larry Bird was lethal. I'd have to put him in 1.
Yeah,
I'd have to put him in 1. It's another one of those so it could go either way, 1 or 2.
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah.
I would say 2.
I would say 2 as well. And again, a lot of you who've watched these guys actually play in the 80s, your perspective on this is probably going to be completely different. But it's not, again, like I said, it's not an insult to be a tier 2 guy. I would tend to put Isaiah in tier 1 because he was the engine that powered
those
the
Detroit
Pistons.
teams.
Yeah. And really did elevate them to championship status. And because you get into a weird place, where do you put Pippen? Pippen was great. And Pippen has won more playoff series without Michael Jordan than Michael Jordan's won without Pippen. Just saying. But
you're right.
But Jordan's a tier 1 guy. If Scottie Pippen didn't struggle with the migraines early, stuff like that, is it automatic that he's a tier 1 guy? I think he's a 2.
Yeah. What about Dwayne Wade?
Wade's a 1 to me.
Yeah, I think so.
Wade's a 1 to me. And to me, it's such a no-brainer just with how dynamic he played. Peak Dwayne Wade was insane. And we have not ever seen anything like him in terms of just the basketball instincts at that position in terms of 2 guards. So for me, Dwayne Wade's a tier 1 guy.
I can see it.
And again, I'm at Sports Cloud on Twitter. The Kobe stands know where to find me because I've gotten into fights with them before. That I think I put Dwayne Wade above Kobe. And they don't like this. And they'll always go to their rings argument, and that's fine. But the fact of the matter is, if I had to choose someone to finish off a game for me, the last 2 minutes, obviously I think I pick Kobe. If I had to pick someone to go the full 48, I want Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
I want D Wade.
I think that's where Kobe and LeBron, the separation is that I would take LeBron the whole game.
Yeah, for a full 48, and I have to pick one guy, and I don't know what the rest of the roster looks like. I don't get to pick the other 4 dudes. I pick LeBron because I know that guy can elevate scrubs, and I don't need to know who the other 4 guys are.
I mean, he's done it his whole career.
Yeah. So that, to me, it's that obvious. Now, I will say, Michael Jordan's got a very, very good case as well, because 40-year-old Michael Jordan on the Washington Wizards wasn't exactly playing with world beaters. That was a bad, bad Wizards team. And Michael Jordan made that team acceptable. They made the playoffs. They didn't go anywhere because he was 40, but they made it. And if you look at that roster, it's nuts. There's nobody there. I'm trying to remember somebody on the top of my head. I watched that team as a kid. I don't remember anybody on that roster. I just remember Michael Jordan balling out.
I remember playing with Michael Jordan on the video game that came out that year on the GameCube. It was Kobe was on the cover. It was great. And
yeah, that's true.
Jordan was still like a 92, 93 rating on the video game.
Yeah, had to. Had to. You're not going to disrespect his airness. He can't jump anymore. He can barely dunk. Even when he's on fast breaks, he chooses to lay up now, and it doesn't matter. He can
Oh, he would still dunk in the video game, though.
Well, we go back to this thing about ratings. Was Michael Jordan ever going to allow you to make a video game where he couldn't dunk?
That's a good point.
If Michael Jordan came back to play basketball now, he wouldn't allow you to make a version of any game where he couldn't dunk.
And I loved the fact that with the graphics, he would stick his tongue out.
Which is just cool.
Yeah, God.
That's just cool. But
it's like he never bit his tongue off.
I've always wondered how that didn't happen. Because while he's dunking, I have bit my tongue under far less stressful situations. Like
I've just sat here talking and bit my tongue.
Yeah, like I was just eating food and I accidentally bit it. I don't know how he never did that dunking.
I wonder what started that.
I don't know.
His tongue kind of sticking out.
He just did it, and it just made sense. And I remember we would all be kids and we'd all go to do it when we'd all go finger roll.
or when you would play on like one of those Nerf nets and you would dunk on them.
Yeah, the little Nerf hoop on your door. Yeah, I don't know, but like he just did it, and everybody knew like, okay, that's just the Jordan thing. You just didn't question the stuff that Michael Jordan did.
No.
So my other question is, since we're in greatest of all time discussions, football, because football's weird because all the positions aren't equal in terms of who's touching the ball and who's participating. Jerry Rice said recently, I'm the greatest of all time. Jerry Rice, and he didn't say receiver. He said football player. And Jerry Rice has a very good argument.
He does.
He's got a very, very good argument.
I think with football, it's a lot different. Like you said, I don't think you can even really compare positions because they each have their own functionality. And in basketball, your goal is still the same no matter what position you play. You just go about it a little bit differently.
Right.
Football, it's hard. I think you have to really kind of break it down. I will never say that Jerry Rice is not the greatest receiver to ever play the game of football because he is. To say he's the greatest football player of all time, though, and
it's hard to choose a non-quarterback just because.
Even if I take quarterbacks out of the equation, so just completely take quarterbacks out.
Okay, so you've got running backs, wide receivers,
defensive players, linemen. Linemen are hard too because there are some linemen who have like if you just look recently, Joe Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those guys don't come around often.
Not at all. What's my guy's name? The left tackle for the Cowboys. Who I'm just blanking on his name right now. But he missed a couple of games for Dallas, and Dak Prescott
was running for his life.
Was not only running for his life, just looked like a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
So it was like a combination of he didn't have Ezekiel Elliott, and then once he lost his tackle. Like, you just don't really even think about the responsibility that a lineman has.
There's a reason those left tackles and those centers make a lot of money.
Right. It's big. It's a big deal. Protecting the blind spot of the quarterback is huge money. For that reason. I mean, he can't see the defender coming that way, and Dak really couldn't, and didn't have that clock in his head to get the ball out of his hands. And for the couple of games, was it Tyron Smith? He just looked bad. I mean, he looked horrible.
I mean, it's very important.
So it's tough to figure out who's going to even when they do that top 100 players list. Like I always think it's fascinating, but I don't know how accurate you can even be.
You can't. But like I said, if you even take wide receiver or quarterbacks out of the mold for this discussion, I think it's even hard to say that Jerry's the greatest of all time at any position because you have some running backs and guys like Jim Brown,
right?
Barry Sanders,
it's
Walter Payton.
Those three by themselves have a very strong argument, each one of them, right? And
now, I don't think there's a wide receiver that's close to Jerry Rice, though.
No, and Antonio Brown. At the end of his career, could be because I saw a graphic earlier this week comparing the stats of both guys before 30. Before 30, Antonio Brown's played 115 games. Jerry Rice played 114, and Antonio Brown has more yards than Jerry Rice, and more receptions. And I thought that was crazy, especially with the receptions, because it's not even close.
Yeah.
But Jerry Rice is blowing him away in touchdowns. It's like, I don't even know if Antonio Brown's going to catch him. It doesn't seem possible. But Antonio Brown would be the next closest guy if he plays as long as Jerry did, which already is a tough order because Jerry just physically could go forever. Even when Jerry retired, it felt like Jerry Rice retired because he just wanted to. Like, he was just done. Not his body was done. He just mentally couldn't do it anymore.
Because when he was in Oakland, he was playing well.
Yeah, no, like he there was no fall off. Like Jerry, he wasn't slow. He was still catching touchdowns. Like Jerry Rice, if he wanted to, could have put that touchdown receiving record so far away. It looks like that unbreakable record that, the Bulls had, that unbreakable, they 72 wins until it finally got broken. I think all records will eventually fall. But Jerry Rice doesn't even look like you can touch his.
There's one record I don't think that'll ever fall.
Which one?
Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak.
Yeah, that one's not going anywhere.
56 games. The way hitters hit now.
That's stupid. It's even without taking into account the way hitters hit now. That was stupid then. That was insane. 56. Yeah, but the way that guys hit now, and you were here when I talked to Dale Murphy, and he was just like, guys strike out a lot. Like, guys swing at a lot more. And I don't know if it's just discipline.
A lot of it has to do with the strike zone too.
Yeah. Like the game's just different, but 56 games with a hit. Good luck. I don't know if you
never happened.
Yeah, I don't think that one's possible. Like the Jerry Rice one seems more doable than DiMaggio's.
Get consecutive games.
Yeah, no, that's
played streaks not getting broken.
Because that's not human. Like you need so much luck, so much grit, and then just like a body that can take it.
Even now, if you are healthy for the whole season, you don't play all 162 games. You don't.
They never let you. Like the analytics now tell you that's not even good for your body. Yeah. Yeah, Cal Ripken's. Yeah, that's not getting touched either. I agree.
A lot of the baseball records, I think.
A lot of the baseball ones are tough.
I don't think the home run record will ever get broken. Just because longevity-wise, nobody plays that long anymore. I mean,
yeah.
Even if you keep it at Hank Aaron's record at 755, and not Bond's, whatever his is, 760 something, whatever. I don't see that one being broken either. It hits. Pete Rose's hits. That's not getting broken.
No, I don't think so.
4,000 and something hits. Yeah, no, not happening.
It's you'd be asking for someone to be playing 20 plus years to even have a dream of coming close. Like that is how. And again, like you say, like with the way guys hit today, that no one is going to be able to generate enough hits. It just doesn't seem possible.
No, because if let's say you have great years and you play 20 years, okay, and that's if you play 20 great years. And I'm gonna do the math real quick. If you play 20 great years and you have 200 hits for 20 years, you're just at 4,000.
Yeah, man.
And 200 hits is a great season.
Yeah, and you have to do that consistently for 20 years.
And they're not even breaking the record at that point.
But
you're just sniffing it.
And that's the thing about Pete Rose. He was so cerebral. And like I love listening to Pete talk about it. Even though now he sounds like a crazy person these days. But he was so cerebral with how he approached every single pitch. He was gonna hit. Every time he stepped up to hit, he was gonna get one. I don't know that guys have that mindset because I just think that the way that we have today's game, the guys that really could play the game that way, there's such a premium on just being able to hit it out of the yard and, the paycheck even. Like we just monetarily incentivize guys who can just crush it, that you're more likely to just swing at stuff. Like
chicks dig the long ball.
Yeah, it's better to be Giancarlo Stanton, who just, like even last year, just led the majors in strikeouts.
But also was close to leading the league in home runs.
Yeah, and this year it's even more of a drastic disparity. Like he's now that he's gotten back on track hitting, he's still just the strikeout king. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, just put the ball in play, man. Put the ball in play.
But he doesn't know how to.
I know.
And that's the thing. Like, a lot of guys don't know how to.
The thing about Giancarlo Stanton is not that great of a hitter. Well,
yeah, it's good. Yeah, I know what you're saying. And it's going to sound bad when you say it like that, but I know what you mean.
He's not that great of a hitter. He's a mistake hitter. If you make a mistake,
yeah, he's going to hit it. He's going to murder it.
But he's not a guy who's going to, if you make a good pitch, he's not going to fight one off and shoot one down the line for a single.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I was actually worried about with the Yankees, because I was like, Aaron Judge is the same hitter. Like, Aaron Judge is not going to pick apart a pitcher, watch film, and figure out which guy has which tendencies so that when he does this, I know what to do. Aaron Judge is like, nah, if you screw up and leave this one over the middle of the plate,
I'm going to hit it a country mile.
Yeah, the cover's coming off the ball. That's just what it is. So I don't know, man.
Baseball records, those are
tough. The game is so different. And it's weird because, like, baseball is one of those sports, the game gets different and the records get harder to break.
Yeah.
Basketball, the game gets different.
They're easier to break.
Yeah, the records are easier to break. It's easier to score more
Football,
points.
same way.
Yeah. You know, like the touchdown record.
Like Peyton's touchdown record may be broken.
Yeah. And you could imagine a world where that happens. Even though when he said it the first time, it did feel like, wow, this one's going to last. And then somebody made the mistake of giving Tom Brady Randy Moss.
Yeah.
And that went.
But then
Peyton took it back.
Said, no, give it back. What is it, like 53 or something now?
I think it's 54. I could be wrong about that. I think it's 54 though.
Okay. I just remember that was that Denver year. That was his first Denver year.
That was his first Denver year.
Ooh, that team was good,
Lord,
man.
Yeah.
I don't know how they fell apart in the Super Bowl, but.
And even then, had that been an indoor Super Bowl, I don't think they fall apart the way they do. It's just they played an outdoor cold weather Super Bowl, which I don't know whose idea that was. Yeah. Come on, man.
It's like playing the Super Bowl in Miami when it wasn't in a dome.
Let me put it this way. Majority of teams, majority of the time, don't play in those conditions. You know what I mean? For majority of the season. So here's the Super Bowl, a game that is supposed to be the pinnacle of the sport. And what you end up having is a game that's pretty much nothing like the majority of the games that you've been watching all year. It seems silly to me. Now, if you happen to have a Super Bowl that's cold, that's different. Like the year they had it in Jacksonville when the Eagles and the Patriots were there.
And it was just unseasonably cold.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing you can do about that.
Right. Or when they had it in Dallas. And for whatever reason, like a snowstorm just hit when nobody knew why.
The one that I like, though, well, I guess it needs to me pay attention to the time. But we'll be back next week. We'll talk more about random stuff.
And actually, next week, we're going to have Sam back, and we're going to have Mike Condon. We're going to have the Gridiron Gang crew on the Breakfast Blitz.
Oh, it's going to be a good time. Thanks for joining us. Breakfast Blitz, 927 FM, Nigga Radio. Have a great weekend.
Hi, David Toulis. I made the move, and I hope you will too.